My name's Mighty. My surname is Rasing, and I'm from the Philippines. Right now, I work with Young People's Ministries as the program director for Central Conferences. So I work with our youth and young adults and workers with young people in the Philippines, in Africa, and in Europe. So I just started in this position last April, and before that, I was the Philippine staff person of Young People's Ministries, and I did that for about 6 years. Well, first off, since I grew up in the northern Philippines, and that's about 8-9 hours away from Manila. And growing up, typhoons were just part of our lives. Like during typhoon season, which is about about June up to towards the end of the year. So it's not uncommon for us to experience strong winds, strong rains, heavy rains, and some flooding in some areas. But as a kid, it was just a normal happening for us. And one of my memories of a really strong typhoon was when I was probably in 5th grade, and you could hear the wind like singing or like whistling. And there was one time that our house got flooded, and then our roof almost got blown off. And this is a concrete house with GI sheets for roofing. And you could imagine in the province we have a lot of bamboo houses, huts, and some people would get some nylon ropes, and they would tie the posts of their houses in big trees just so they won't get blown away. You know, it's like a typhoon is nothing special, and you could experience like a week long without electricity. And this was long before the ubiquitous presence of cell phones. And back then we just relied on radio and TV for typhoon signals. The thing that surprised me with Typhoon Glenda, this was just last year. It was off the usual path of the typhoons, because the way that our island works in the Philippines, because it's Luzon is like the biggest island. There are big mountains near the Pacific Ocean, and so they act like a natural barrier to the typhoons. So by the time that they make a landfall, the mountains help disperse the strength of the winds. What happened was, that's the usual path of the typhoon. Now, what we're seeing is that some of the typhoons are moving south instead of going through the north. So we were totally not expecting a strong typhoon to pass by. You'd see some debris flying around, and the winds just whistling. You could hear it. And it's not a fun experience being trapped in that kind of situation. There were a lot of flooding in the area nearby, because it's also near the South China Sea. So there were some flooding, and electricity was out for about 3 days around the area. In some nearby areas, thankfully there wasn't a lot of casualties. But during this time, it was only a few weeks or a couple of months after Typhoon Haiyan, which led to very so many casualties in the middle Philippines. Typhoon Haiyan is in the middle part of the Philippines, and that was so destructive. The official count of the government was about 6,000 casualties, but international organizations and media put it at about 10,000. People's houses were totally blown away, especially those in the coast, and even buildings that were supposed to be strong were just they were destroyed, damaged. And you would see some there's this community center, a gymnasium of the city of Tacloban. That's where it's like ground zero of Haiyan. The metals were just rolled up, and there was a ship that was in the middle of the city. It was washed out. The media in general just put on so many images of destroyed houses, of people living in very desperate situations. No food, no water, and it was a very big disaster.